The players of both teams and the match officials are now standing together in a moment of unity. Thank you very much.
Hello mate, can you hear me? Yeah, I can hear you absolutely fine. Let's get going then. Well, hello everybody and welcome to a brand new competition here at Edgbaston, the Charlotte Edwards Cup. It started earlier today and this evening's entertainment is the Central Sparks versus the Southern Vipers. My name is Mike Perkins. Alongside me is Dr. Samara Afzal, who we will be telling you all about as the commentary goes on, and we'll be giving her thoughts on this game before us. The first thing to tell you about really is the fact, well, the fact we've got crowds in fact, is one of the big aspects of this. We've got a smattering of supporters away in the Holly stand, a few sat in the yellow seats below the scoreboard, and they work their way right round to the left-hand side as well. And the side that will be fielding first are the Southern Vipers. They won the toss and decided to field, and they're making their way onto the pitch now. The home side line up like this. They have Eve Jones, the captain. Thea Brooks comes into the side from the last Rachel Hale-Flint Trophy game. Marie Kelly, Gwen Davis, Emily Arlett is back in the Central Sparks side. Izzy Wong, Chloe Hill, another change, she's going to keep wicket. Claire Boycott, Ria Fackrell, Georgia Davis and Hannah Baker. So a number of players into the side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in fact into the Central Sparks side from their last Rachel Hale-Flint Trophy game. As for the Southern Vipers, they go like this: Georgia Adams, Lauren Bell, Tara Norris, Danny Wyatt, Maya Bouchier, Georgia Elwis, one of the two changes coming into the side, Carla Rudd, Emily Windsor, Charlotte Taylor, Paige Schofield and Charlie Dean complete the lineup. As I say, it's the Vipers who are out to do the fielding first. The Sparks will be batting, and as I say, I am delighted to be joined by Dr. Samara Afzal, who is, well, the first, or one of the first Asian women to play cricket for Warwickshire. So in terms of cricketing ability, you've got it there, but you're also a GP, and it must be fantastic to see that we have people inside a cricket stadium.
Hi Mike, hi everybody. Firstly, thank you for having me. It's an absolute honour to be here at Edgbaston commentating. And yes, it's absolutely fantastic to see the crowd and seeing people enjoying themselves watching cricket.
Here's
out
Charlotte
of the stadium.
Taylor, first ball, and it's worked off the pad by Eve Jones. There'll be a single and the Sparks are underway, one without loss. Sorry Samara, I'll let you continue there.
Yeah, so yeah, it's great to see all the crowds here, and we saw a huge crowd for the Warwickshire game just before this one, and again that was a fantastic T20 match. So yeah, particularly from a COVID perspective, it's great that this has happened, given that only not so long ago we were all in a pretty tight lockdown.
No. Here comes Charlotte Taylor to bowl to Thea Brooks, and she's forward, and the ball is, well, the bails are knocked off, but to no avail. Just a dot recorded in the scorebook, and one without loss it remains, and we're underway in this game, which is a delight to say, in the Charlotte Edwards Cup, as Brooks drives it out to the cover sweeper. That's Danny Wyatt, who returns the ball with a distinctively forceful throw from the cover boundary, and 2 without loss. The score moves on to Eve Jones back onto strike. Taylor again from the Birmingham end of the ground, the city of Birmingham behind her in the distance. We've mentioned those supporters in, as this one's pushed out into the offside for no run, but the city of Birmingham in bright sunshine over there. It's very warm in the commentary box, it's got to be said today, as in comes Taylor again to continue this first over, and she produces another dot ball in the over, as Jones is just happy to prod into the offside again for no run. Here's Taylor, turns at the back of the mark and will throw the ball up. It's cut away, forced away really, and another single on offer. So 3 without loss, the score at the end of the first over for the Central Sparks. What did you make of that as a start there, Samara?
I think that's a brilliant over, first up from Taylor, right on line and length, not giving away much at all, just the 3 singles on that first over. And I think it's going to be a very tight competition. Both teams on paper actually look really good. Both have got England players, current England players, former England players in their squads. So I think an exciting match ahead.
Forgive us if there's a slight echo. There's a few people just sending us messages and that kind of thing, saying that we'll do our best to rectify it as best we can, but might just have to put up with it to begin with. So Tara Norris is going to open the bowling from the pavilion end. There's spectators watching on. The rope is out and it's been assessed by Eve Jones, and it'll be interesting to see how she goes about adapting her game. She's been in relatively decent touch in her last 2 innings with 55 and 100, but she's out here, bowled by Norris from her very first ball of the game from Tara Norris from the pavilion end. It's 3 for 1, and I was wondering how Eve Jones was going to adapt her game to the 2020 format. Well, she hasn't made a connection there. She's been bowled, the bails flying up in the air, and a spectacular start, Dr. Samara Afzal, from Tara Norris. Yeah,
fantastic. First ball right on target and straight into the stumps. Not what Central Sparks would have wanted so early on, but brilliant start for the Southern Vipers.
It certainly is. It certainly is exactly what the Vipers would want. They will, of course, be out for a little bit of revenge here. They were beaten in the Rachel Hayhoe-Flint Trophy. Perhaps a shock to see the holders go down in that way. They're the inaugural winners of the Rachel Hayhoe-Flint Trophy. They were also the inaugural winners of the Kia Super League. At that time, Charlotte Edwards was their captain. She was their coach last year. So they're certainly one of the sides to beat in any competition, and they're looking to try and prove it, it would seem.
Sure, absolutely. It looks like that. I think next in one of my favourite batters, Marie Kelly, very, very talented, and one of my club players. I've seen a lot of her, seen her hit numerous centuries, so I'm actually quite excited, and I hope that she gets a big score here today.
3 for 1 the score then from the first ball of the second over of this game. Norris on her way again, and Kelly trying to get underway behind square on the offside, but there's a good piece of fielding done in the distance by Charlie Dean, and that means that it is a dot ball, so Norris still to concede. Yeah, you play cricket at Warmley at the moment, and always a good club, and a club that's always supported women's cricket, it seems.
Absolutely, a fantastic club. Lots of talent, lots of talented players.
Come back to that after this ball, as Kelly's managed to stab it past the stumps, and perhaps slightly fortuitously. Taylor there at short fine leg with the fielding. No run taken. 3 for 1 it remains. An exciting start to this one. A wicket already, and the Vipers putting on the pressure. So as we're saying, sort of Warmley are one of those clubs in this area that really have got behind their women's cricket and have always been at the forefront of it, as in comes Norris to bowl, left arm over the wicket from the pavilion end. There's a big shout. It looks potentially close, but I think the umpires decided he could see a few too many stumps from his end, and it was creeping away down the leg side. No run on offer, 3 for 1 it remains. But as we're saying, you know, Warmley are one of, I mean, lots of clubs around this area do support their women's cricket, but Warmley are one who really made a big effort.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They've, you know, Amy Jones comes from Warmley. We've got Marie Kelly, Liz Russell. We've had Sarah Taylor play for us, so we've had a lot of talent come through from that club. Here's
Norris again, arms pumping, straight approach, and jumps high at the crease before delivering a ball that Kelly, one of those Warmley players, is able to just touch behind square on the offside and pick up a single. So she's underway. 4 for 1 the total moves to. And the guard being taken by Thea Brooks, who will have to be on her guard because she's seen her captain Eve Jones bowled for 2 by Tara Norris. Lasted just the 5 balls and was in for 5 minutes before being dismissed from the first ball of this, the second over. It's about to be completed now as Norris is on her way in. Brooks waits with the bat raised, works it nicely into the leg side. There probably was one on offer to the back of the square where Elwes picked up and did the fielding, but they did not decide to take it, and 4 for 1 it remains. And the scores have been fairly low today in the game so far. I felt there was a bit of nerves actually about Lightning, the way they started the competition at 11 o'clock this morning, and they were beaten in this group by South East Stars quite comfortably by 6 wickets. Very good piece of batting though by the captain there, Bryony Smith. I was thinking, sort of eating my breakfast, well, it was after I'd finished my breakfast, to be honest, by the time Bryony Smith came to the crease, but how much I enjoyed her batting. She made 30 from just 14 deliveries, and South East Stars made short work of that. We've also had Thunder winning by 12 runs against Northern Diamonds, again in another low-scoring game in the competition. Northern Diamonds making 106 for 9 in pursuit of 119 to win that game. Emma Lamb among the star performers in that one for the Thunder. She made 58 from 43 balls at the top of the innings. We have a bowling change here from the far end. Perhaps not unexpected that Lauren Bell will come into the attack, given Charlotte Taylor, the spinner, bowled the first over. A wily old T20 trick that, to give the spinner the first over of the game, as they have with Charlotte Taylor, who of course was the leading wicket taker in the Rachel Hayo Flint Trophy last year. No run on offer to Kelly. It hit her pads and just deflected out into the offside. And Western Storm were beaten by the Sunrisers. The Sunrisers, who've had a torrid time in the Rachel Hayo Flint Trophy. They haven't got a win on the board in the 50-over competition, but they've opened their 20-over competition by winning by 7 wickets, chasing down 130 to beat Western Storm. As Bell's on the way to deliver a second delivery, and you could probably tell by the exasperation next to me from Dr. Samara Afzal, it crept towards the inside edge. You were a little worried by that one for Marie Kelly's wicket and her status at the crease.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking she's about to flick it to mid-wicket, but she didn't. So yeah, no, it's slightly tentative start, I think, for the Central Sparks. Charlotte Taylor, Lauren Bell, they've both, all 3 of them have bowled really well so far.
Bell looking for another dot ball, won't find it though. Kelly's managed to force away behind square on the offside. She's looking for 2, but she won't get it. It's over the head of Carla Rudd, who's one of 2 players remaining from the win in the KSL in 2016. 21 stumpings and 10 catches in her time with the Southern Vipers, and does like to stand up to the stumps when she can, but she's stood back at the moment to the pace of Lauren Bell, who's been very disciplined in those first 3 deliveries of the 3rd over. What can she produce with this one? To Thea Brooks, who tries to work into the leg side. There was plenty of pad involved there, and I imagine we will see a tap of the knee from our umpire at the far end, and indeed we do. 6 for 1 the total moves on to, and that's a valuable leg by, because this well, it's a power play for the first 6 overs in this competition, and at the moment Central Sparks struggling a little to take advantage. Here comes Bell to bowl, and it's through outside the off stump and into the gloves of Rudd, and a dot ball is recorded, and a very, very fine start this from the Vipers. As the ball is returned to Georgia Adams, the captain of the Southern Vipers, and She just has a little chat with Lauren Bell, who sweeps the hair back behind the ears, and it's quite windy out there. She makes her way up to the wickets now and bowls, and this one's right up around the sort of chest area of Kelly, and she manages to get it into the leg side. A single on offer. 7 for 1 the total at the end of the 3rd over. So again, struggling to score here. We haven't seen the fence found so far, but what would your thoughts be there if you were in Thea Brooks's position, chatting to your club teammate Marie Kelly out there at the moment?
I think both of them can hit quite well. Both of them can hit the boundary, and I think at the moment it's about getting a partnership together, just with the loss of that quick wicket first up. So I think they should look for the gaps, find the singles, doubles, and then, well, so far there hasn't really been any bad balls, but when they do get a bad ball, just put it away.
It looked as if Eve Jones was looking for a heave into the leg side from the first ball the last over, but we see a straighter bat there from Kelly, who's happy to deflect that one into the leg side. Doesn't bring her any score on this occasion though, so she'll have to settle back over her stance. And another thing I'm really keen to hear about that you've been involved with recently is the National Asian Cricket Council playing at Lords. I think it was a bit of a wet day, but nonetheless an enjoyable day for the Birmingham sides, as in comes Tara Norris to bowl, and this one's played away high into the leg side. Now there's going to be at least 2 on offer, you would think. Quick turning from Brooks. Kelly has to just get a little bit of a hurry up to get to the far end. She missed the previous game with a dead leg, but looked in fine fettle there, and 9 for 1 the score moves on to. And yeah, I think there was a bit of success down there at Lords. Yeah,
it turned into an indoor tournament because of the rain, unfortunately, but we you know, there were 8 teams, Birmingham team, so we won all 3 games, so essentially we won the tournament, which was fantastic for us.
Here comes Norris. A left arm over the wicket. That's a nice looking drive. It'll only bring Kelly 1, but she knew as soon as she'd hit it that it was going to be difficult to field there at short extra cover, so she took full advantage by scampering down to the non-striker's end and adding a single to the score. Maya Bouchier trying to affect the fielding there for the Southern Vipers. So it looked, I mean, I saw various pictures on Twitter. I think Shruti Saljani was there as well with a team. She's involved in the sort of the Dream Big project as Norris bowls, and this one's defended back down the pitch, and it's a dot ball. It looks as if a good day was certainly had by all, although particularly for yourself being on the winning side. Yeah,
no, it was a great day, and it's always good to see so many different women from across the country playing cricket together, and it's always a great experience, and obviously an experience at Lords which not very many people get to have, so it was a very good day.
And the test match was on at the same time as well, I think, so I guess there was plenty of chatter around that as Norris is bowling. This has worked actually quite cleverly in the end with a turn of the wrists by Brooks into the leg side. It'll bring another single. 11 for 1 the total moves on to for the Sparks, who've been put into bat. And of course that test match, it generated so much conversation across the world of cricket really about what the future should be, and it seems almost strange that we're going into the shortest format now. Here comes Norris to bowl to Kelly, who's waiting. It's a full one, and I think she might have preferred to have gone offside if she'd had the chance again, but she's picked up a single into the leg side, and 12 for 1 is the score at the end of the 4th over. So scoring still a little bit of a struggle. What were your thoughts watching that test match? It did feel one that really captured the imagination of people.
I think it was a fantastic test match to watch. At one point we thought this is going to head for a draw, rain is going to win, but no, it was a fantastic test match, and I think New Zealand really deserved to be the winners of the Test Championship, particularly what happened to them at the World Cup with England. I think Kane Williamson really deserved to lift that trophy and take it home.
And of course, so as well, we've had the women's test match as well that was fantastic to see down at Bristol, and they were I mean, that was a game that really sort of seemed to be a step forward in women's cricket.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That was you know,
just breaking for Bell to deliver this ball. Kelly plays it to backward point, no run to Charlie Dean slightly forward there, Kelly, but couldn't find the gap.
Both teams showed that they've got a lot of talent on offer, particularly a couple of the new Indian batters were fantastic in their innings, very talented, and India tends to be able to produce a lot of talented batters, actually similarly to England as well. So, and it's always a good competition between India and England, be it the men's or be it the women's test matches or ODIs, and you always get a good game.
And of course that series continuing tomorrow as Bell comes into bowl here at Edgbaston through outside the off stump in the Charlotte Edwards Cup, and that will be a wide 13 for 1 the total moves on to. Quite a valuable extra. They've been few and far between in this innings so far, and we see Georgia Elwys is out there and involved in this one as somebody who was involved in that test match as well, so quite a change for her going from long form to short form. Here's Bell bouncing at the back of the run, and she's on her way now in from the Birmingham end. A quick straight delivery that Kelly again has to force down the offside of the wicket, slightly onto the front foot, dot ball recorded. That's quite a change for a cricketer, really, going from that 5-day format to what we're seeing here, where it's all go. Yeah,
I think the 5-day format must be exhausting, because I know playing 45 or 50 over games are absolutely exhausting, so going from that and then into the shorter format, it must require them to adapt quite quickly.
4-day format, of course, I should say, as Bell comes in and bowls, and this one is into the pads of Marie Kelly. It's worked up to mid-on, but no run on offer, so 13 for 1 it remains. Of course, that's been the big debate, whether women's cricket should go to 5 days from 4 days, but there seems to be a lot of momentum behind actually just playing more tests first and foremost, and it would be good to see at least one in most series from now on, I would have thought.
Yeah, I think, women don't play half as many tests as the men do, and I think the first step would be for all the test playing countries to play more test matches.
In comes Bell to bowl right arm over the wicket in towards the pads of Kelly. It bounced with a dangerous spin. It was well wide of the stumps though, and Kelly again has to settle for a dot ball as Vipers seem to have a firm grip on this game.
I think it's interesting, isn't it? Because we've had that conversation, should the men's tests be going from a 5-day to a 4-day, and on the other hand we're getting the conversation as to whether the women should go from a 4 to a 5-day, and I think there's opinions on both sides.
And with the 6th day in the World Test Championship, as Bell comes in to bowl, and this one's down the leg side, that will be a wide ball, 14 for 1. It was making me think, why did we just scrap the timeless test format, really? I mean, I think it should be first one to go in for the boat, it's the loser, really. That's the that's the way forward.
Well, in England, surely when it's going to rain for probably a couple of those days, I think, yeah, I agree, 6 or 7-day test matches.
In comes Bell from the far end, waiting with the bat raised is Kelly, drives into the offside. Bouchier's there with the fielding at short extra cover, threatens to throw at the stumps and then realises Brooks has not even left her ground on that occasion. 14 for 1 it remains. It's approaching 10 to 7. The floodlights are on. I don't think we're necessarily going to need them, but it's nice to see the women's T20 Cup starting here at Edgbaston under the lights, and it's another interesting aspect to the game. As in comes Bell. Bowls to Kelly, who's driven that firmly and I think almost wanted a run because of how well she'd hit the ball down the ground, but there wasn't one on offer, and 14 for 1 is the score after 5 overs. So in terms of making the most of this power play, it's not always a big aspect of women's cricket attacking the power play, but Sparks really just struggling to get started here.
Yeah, and I think we have to give credit to the bowlers. I think they've been bang on target, good line, good length. Marie, as we see, she's a very good driver of the ball, and she's actually not getting that many full balls to drive. The couple that she has driven have gone pretty much straight to the fielder. So, yeah, I think they'll probably be looking to build up a partnership, and one of them will probably have to start attacking at some point.
Charlie Dean coming into the attack now, and Leah Brooks is just waiting to assess what's on offer for her here. I say still 1 over of this power play remaining, so there are 2 back on the leg side boundary for Charlie Dean as protection, but that means she has to keep all of the offside up, so she's got mid-off in the ring, a short extra cover, a cover point and a backward point, plenty of space behind square on the offside, but probably difficult to exploit when you've got a player bowling around the wicket. And this one is going to be caught at short, fine leg. And the opening ball of Tara Norris's spell brings a wicket, and Charlie Dean has repeated the trick by getting the ball caught there down at short, fine leg. It just went high, spiralling into the air, and Thea Brooks has to make her way back to the pavilion. Well, she went for the sweep shot. I was almost talking about how do you get it down to short third, but she tried to go the other way, and it's produced her demise.
Yeah, I think she probably thought that she could clear the fielder, but it's kind of looped straight into the air, and she's got caught out, unfortunately. They're probably looking to accelerate that scorecard. So yeah, not looking good, not a great start for Central Sparks. Again, so the Vipers have been brilliant in the field, and all their bowlers have been on target. So yeah, well, let's see, but I think it's going to be another low-scoring game, but usually the low-scoring games are probably the most interesting ones. Yeah,
they can often be sort of the most tense. We certainly saw that in the 50-over competition last year when Marie Kelly made 59 against the Thunder in a game that was around about 145 aside. Norris there with the catch, just to confirm for you. So Norris getting the catch off Dean to dismiss Brooks, who made 2, just like her captain Eve Jones. So 7 balls she faced in 22 minutes, and the second wicket fell with the score on 14 for 2 as it remains with that ball pushed into the leg side. So Marie Kelly and Gwennon Davis, who've batted together enough in this Sparks side, so they'll be used to each other's company in the middle, and they're going to pick up 2 here. 2 of what we're about to find out. It was going down the leg side, and it went off the pad of Marie Kelly, had managed to scamper through to the striker's end whilst the ball was in the air there. So she will face up again to Dean, bowling right arm around the wicket off spin. It's a tricky little angle that Dean is producing, and her 5 balls so far have been very miserly indeed. Just the 2 off the legs, in fact. So she's on for a wicket maiden at the rate she's going. Delivers again. This one's driven through the offside, and this could well be the first boundary. It will be. 4 runs to the extra cover boundary for Marie Kelly, using her feet, and she will be very glad indeed as she taps bats with Gwennon Davis that she's got a team going in the boundary respect. 20 for 2. Kelly moves on to 11. That was a very fine drive indeed.
That was a beautiful drive. I think she really needed that to get her confidence and break the shackles a little bit. And you know, I think once, and with Marie, I've seen a lot of the times she'll start off slightly slow, but actually once she starts hitting her boundaries, getting her confidence, she'll be quick to pick up the run rate.
Here's Dean again to complete the over, and this one's driven again through the offside, and we mentioned those fielders were up in the ring. Dean had bowled beautifully to it so far in the over, but her last 2 deliveries go for 2 boundaries, and all of a sudden the complexion of the over changes completely, and she's conceded 8 from it. 10 in total from it because of the 2 leg byes, and that's a much better over for the Sparks. Marie Kelly deciding she has to get her feet down the track, and is that something you've seen in the occasions you have been able to play with her at Warmley, that's an approach that she likes to take?
Yeah, she will. She'll start off, she'll suss out the bowlers, see what the pitch is playing like, and she's very quick, so she'll convert. She might get her 50 off about 50 to 60 balls, but then the next 50 will usually come off about 20 to 30 balls when we play our 45 over cricket together, and she's wonderful to watch. She's very orthodox, particularly for all the young batters learning. I really encourage them at Warmley as well to watch Marie, the way she bats, and playing club cricket, I've rarely seen Marie get out. She usually hits back-to-back centuries every time I've seen her play.
Well, we have a 5th new bowler, Georgia Elwes, coming into the attack from the City end. Gwennon Davis drives the ball efficiently back to her. It was Davis's first ball that she'd faced. 24 for 2 the score at the start of this 7th over. And I guess that's the pressure of T20 cricket, is you almost don't have those 60 balls to play around with. You have to almost halve that into a kind of 30 balls and then go from there if you're looking to bat the distances. Elwys is short down the leg side. She's appealing and it's out. And Davis didn't look particularly happy, but she trudges off now. It's a great catch by Carla Rudd down the leg side. Davis was playing a full-blown pull stroke, and it's just got a little clip on the way through to the wicketkeeper. Gwennin Davis is out, caught down the leg side by Carla Rudd for naught off the bowling of Georgia Elwys. I have to be honest, I thought that was one of those appeals to stop the wide ball being given, but the finger shot up.
Absolutely, I thought it was a wide when I saw it, and I thought it was about to be given as a wide, and I'm quite surprised that it's been given out. Whether she's managed to get a very fine tickle, she'll be very annoyed with herself, because that probably would have been otherwise a wide.
Well, we said that Carla Rudd came into the season with very impressive figures of 21 stumpings and 10 catches. That's the figures given for her on the Southern Vipers website at present, and she's gone, well, she's added to that tally there by taking a very, very smart leg side catch. That's a great piece of wicket keeping.
Yeah, that was a fantastic piece of wicket keeping. Actually reminded me a little bit about of Sarah Taylor. She tends to take these brilliant catches down leg side. She's actually probably my favourite wicket keeper, both in the men's and the women's put together. Her reflexes are just brilliant, and that catch actually did remind me a little bit of Sarah's keeping.
Yeah, it was just great footwork to get over and make sure the hands were in the right place, and got a reward with the little tickle. Emily Arlett is the new batter and leaves that one. Emily Arlett, I was almost a little surprised to see her today, because obviously she's been there with the England duty, but the Sparks will be very keen to get her straight back in, and she does hit a very clean ball. She's been doing it right down the list at number 11 so far, but she's coming in to try and add some impetus now. Here's Elwys again, back of a run. A little bustly sort of bowler really for Vipers is Elwys, and brings another dot from the bat of Arlett, who's faced 2 balls, just as Gwennin Davis did, who was caught earlier in the over by Carla Rudd. We've also seen the dismissal of Thea Brooks, caught by Tara Norris, off the bowling of Charlie Dean for 2, and Norris bowling Eve Jones with the first ball of the second over for 2 as well. In comes Elwys, bowls, it's off the outside half of the bat, and Arlett is underway with that. It's gathered down on the 3rd boundary by Norris and returned to the wicketkeeper Rudd, and 25 for 3 the score moves to. Well, certainly you notice the change of pace with this 2020 stuff. It really is all go out there.
Yeah, it is. It's yeah, as I said, I think the low scoring games are usually more exciting in the end.
Here's Elwys bowling to the, well, straight into the bat of Marie Kelly. She didn't move greatly, tried to force it into the leg side. Another mid-pitch conference goes on, and the overs continue to race by. We've had 7 of them so far, 25 for 3. Another good one for the Vipers, just after there'd been a very good one of 10 for the Central Sparks. So they've just wrestled back control there of this innings and this game so far.
Yeah, they have. I think they've been fantastic so far with all their bowlers. I mean, Georgia Elwys, another one that I've played with in the youth, and again, she's fantastic. She's always on line and length, gets lots and lots of wickets. Did in the club game, but obviously now she's playing professional cricket. But yeah, it's good to see so many talented players that we'd play with growing up, and seeing them now playing at Edgbaston.
And we'll see more of Elwys, of course, because she's sticking with the orange. We'll explain more in a moment as Dean continues from this pavilion end and finds the way into the pads of Arlett, a dot ball, because she's going to be playing for the Birmingham Phoenix, who are also going to be in the orange, much like the Vipers. A slightly different shade of orange, but it will be orange nonetheless. As in comes Charlie Dean to bowl around the wicket with the big E-shaped floodlights on above us, and Arlett has cracked that away for 4 through the offside, and that's been the area where Dean has struggled to keep the lid on things. She's got long on back now, but she's got nobody on that extra cover boundary. 4 more added to the total, 29 for 3 it moves to, and well, Georgia Adams is going to call a fielder up, and I think that's perhaps sensible given where the falls have been going.
Yeah, I think she's been hit for 3 boundaries now in that region, so I think it's sensible to get a fielder there. But another cracking shot. Ireland, she definitely does have the power to hit a lot of boundaries, and I think that's probably why she's been promoted up the order, to probably get this run rate up a little bit more.
Yeah, so it'll be very familiar surroundings for Georgia Elwes. Okay, she won't have played at Edgbaston a lot, but she's a Wolverhampton girl, I believe. So, and of course we know all about Rachel Hayo-Flint, who's from that part of the world as well. So it's clearly produces a few cricketers as Dean comes in and bowls. That would have been a dot ball. There was nearly a coming together between Dean and Kelly, who were both, well, one was trying to get to the ball, one was trying to get out the way of the ball, and a single is the result. 30 for 3 is the score as it brings Kelly back onto strike. More discussion from Adams, who wants to switch Taylor and stick a fielder back on the square leg boundary. Charlie Dean on her way in, throws it up, nicely played into the offside. There's a single on offer. 31 for 3 the score moves to, and as well as producing the boundaries, there's got to be a little bit more of that, hasn't there, now the field spread just ticking it over.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they do need to try and just find the gaps and get some singles. Coming back to Wolverhampton, of course, that was actually one of my first clubs when I started, and we of course had Lucy Pearson, who was the in-form England fast bowler at the time.
Bowling here is Dean, and this one's played into the offside, and that's a dot ball picked up by Bell, I think it was, at backward point. 31 for 3 it remains. Yes, of course, Lucy Pearson, I think, has taken the best match figures in an Ashes game, 11 wickets, as in comes Dean and bowls, and I think Rudd was interested for a second, but aborting the little dance down the track was Arleton at the end. 31 for 3 is the score at the end of the 8th over. So how much of an education was that then to play with somebody like Lucy Pearson, who, of course, I think she's in a role at the Football Association now?
Yeah, it was bizarre because that was the first proper club cricket I'd played, and all of a sudden I went, and at the time it was set up in Tettenhall College in Wolverhampton, and I saw Lucy, and I'd seen her on TV playing for England, so I saw her in action, and I thought, oh gosh, and she's quite tall, so she overpowered me, and I remember just looking at her in awe, thinking, I wish I could bowl like that one day. So, you know, great inspiration for lots of young female cricketers.
We're going to see more of Elwes here, who's bowling, and this one's cut away down to third. There'll be a single on offer before Tara Norris can return the ball with a fierce left arm. Well, it wasn't that fierce, actually. A sort of an accurate left arm throw back to the wicketkeeper. 32 for 3. So how much, I mean, we mentioned you were one of the first women from an Asian background to play for Warwickshire. I mean, how sort of different our sort of times now feel to times then, if you like, as Arlott clips this one away on the leg side. Oh, she might get 4 runs for this, you know. She does get 4 runs. It was very well placed behind square on the leg side. 36 for 3 the score. I guess this maybe does feel quite a distance away from perhaps those days where Edgbaston perhaps wasn't on offer as regularly.
No, absolutely not. I think at that time, so Wolverhampton was my nearest club at that time, and that was a 45-minute drive. But now it's great to see that there's actually clubs dotted quite close by.
Here comes Elwes to bowl right arm over the wicket. Arlott stabbing really as she tried to go forward, and finds Bouchier, who seems to have set up residency in that short extra cover position. Dot ball.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good. I think the England and Wales Cricket Board have actually done really well to promote the development of women's cricket, and it's obviously helped by the fact that England have been brilliant. They've won the World Cup recently.
Elwes bowling again, of course. She has plenty of international honours. Ooh, Bouchier, very unexpectedly, because she's been so tidy today. Didn't pick that one up cleanly, but it doesn't cost her a run on that occasion. And Elwes just gives an instruction to Adams, her captain, in fact, there, maybe pulling rank with her international experience, saying, I know what I want here. I want third up and mid-wicket back. That's the shorter side of the ground that Arlett's waiting for, forces it into the leg side and picks up a single, but boundaries are still a struggle, and it's just been the tightness of the Vipers bowling. They've really come here to put on a show, having been beaten in the Rachel Hayo Flint Trophy.
Yeah, they have, and you know, and in T20 cricket, if you want to be good, you have to have a good bowling lineup, and you have to bowl to your line length and to your field, and they've pretty much done that all game so far.
Here is Elvis again, right arm over the wicket into the pads, and the fielder at mid-wicket, the captain Adams, had come up there. Very tidy return. 37 for 3 is where the score will remain at the end of the over, taken there with that single that rotated the strike. So we've had 9 overs so far, 37 for 3. There was a boundary in that over though, which is why 6 runs were taken from it, but there needs to be plenty more where that came from, and it maybe needs to be some more of the power hitting perhaps, rather than just the sort of the deflection as Arlett took it there in the previous over.
Yeah, I think I've got a feeling Marie will probably go for it shortly, because they do need to get a few more runs. I think the projected rate at this rate won't be more than 80 or 90 runs, so I think they do need to get one of them to start power hitting, with the other one just taking some singles. And I think Marie's actually quite set to do that, because she's now playing on 28 balls and managed to get to 17.
Yeah, both batters in double figures, which is a start for the Sparks, as this one's played away into the offside, and they try to make it more than a start. Arlett scampering through to the non-striker's end. Kelly back onto strike. 38 for 3 the board goes to. Elvis coming up mid-on. Windsor, it looks like, coming in at mid-wicket. In fact, it's Paige Schofield who's come in at mid-wicket, as bowling is Norris back into the attack. Now this one's going to be a chase on back towards the boundary for Elvis. She gets there, although slightly does Schofield with the flick back. It's over ahead into the ring. Another single added to the total, in fact 2 added to the total. 40 for 3 brings Kelly, or keeps Kelly on strike. A little bit of cool and shade at the far end of the ground there as we look towards the city of Birmingham. You can see the bull ring in the distance and the communications tower. Oh, it's slightly changed, hasn't it, behind the floodlight pylon. It used to have the name of the company on it. It almost has like a clock face on it these days, over in the jewellery quarter there, as this one's driven down the ground. A good piece of fielding by Bouchier at mid-off, and another 1 is added to the total. You may be able to hear a little bit of the crowd that we have with us. Very nice to have people back. Greens of the trees in the distance as well behind the school box, as the Warwickshire flag flutters just to its left as we look from the pavilion end. Now that was a slower ball. It's taken an outside edge. It's going to go out the circle down towards third, and a very, very good piece of fielding in the end, and returns the ball for the loss of only 1 run. And I think Tara Norris's slower ball there rather deceiving Emily Arlett.
Their fielding's been brilliant as well. I don't think we've seen any misfields so far, and again, in a limited overs game, you need your fielding to be on point.
It's almost as if they've just been going, right, first hour of every day, we're just going to go out there and have balls hit at us. So this one's been hit nicely away to the mid-wicket boundary. Really picked it up. It was a full toss. It was a rank ball, but Marie Kelly's given it the treatment, and she's picked it up and away. And 46 for 3 the total moves on to. We're in the 10th over.
Yeah, that was a top shot from Marie. I think a rare loose delivery, and she's done well and put it away to the boundary. And again, that will give us some more confidence to continue to try and maybe try and make some of the good balls into bad ones, come down the wicket and attack to try and get as many runs as she can.
It's very difficult to do that, to keep your concentration up, to hit the bad ball, and she's taken the confidence from that and hit a nice drive, but it's going to be tight. But Marie Kelly's actually made it look fairly easy and comfortable in the end, but she'd hit that more or less straight at Georgia Adams on the back of the ring, and a single was always going to be a tight one, but Marie Kelly felt it was always there, and 10 off the over. 47 for 3 the score after 10.
Yeah, a much better over for Central Sparks, 10 from that over, and we're halfway there. 10 overs to go, so I think a little better, not having lost another wicket in the last few overs. I think there is scope now to hit out a little bit more, take some more chances, trying to get this score beyond 100.
Yeah, they've plenty of batting to come, haven't they? The Central Sparks in this one. Kelly and Arlott at the wicket. Izzy Wong's down in the card to come next. Whether that will be the case, I don't know. We will see. Chloe Hill, Claire Boycott, Rhea Fackrell, Georgia Davis and Hannah Baker completing the lineup. Now Charlotte Taylor, who is a very, very dangerous bowler indeed, is back into the attack, and she's going to be bowling from the Birmingham end of the ground. Right arm over the wicket. Down the track comes Marie Kelly and works it into the leg side. There will be a single there, and it is taking the score on to 48 for 3. So a good start to the Taylor over. I mean, so tricky to kind of know whether to attack a bowler like this in this situation, although I suppose they've got no real choice, despite the deadliness of their opponent when she has the ball in hand. Transfers it to that right hand now and delivers as down the wicket comes Arlott. She's cracked it away into the offside. There was a flinging effort to try and get to the ball by the opposite number to Emily Arlott, quite literally Lauren Bell. A single is the result, 49 for 3. Sparks nearing the 50. Here comes Taylor, bowls to Kelly, it dipped on her viciously, and she had to just settle for prodding into the leg side. No run scored there. Good to have everybody with us. Prime time this evening at 6:30 start for this Charlotte Edwards Cup game, and that's a prime time shot down the ground and away for 4. Brilliantly hit there, and that was, well, a good way to bring up the 50 from Marie Kelly, getting down the track. She's gone through extra cover before. On this occasion, over the top, over mid-off, and 4 runs, and he said she'd be looking to get on with it, and she has there.
Yeah, top shot, another top shot from Marie. Yeah, and she is getting on with it, and I've seen it so many times that she will start off judging the pitch, judging the bowlers, and then she'll just get on with it.
Here's Taylor. Bowling. Down the wicket comes Kelly again. Hit it hard. The fielder has gone back, though, and Elwes will pick up, and a single will be the damage. But that shot, actually, that's one of those things where you think, cricket's not a great game, because I've played a lovely shot there and I've only got one.
Yep. Yeah, she does. She did deserve. I think a couple of her drives actually deserved to go to the boundary, but they went straight to the fielder. So yeah.
So 50 up in the 11th over, and Arlott trying to add to it now. Picks out Windsor on the cover boundary. There's a 1 on offer, and that will be all, despite Arlott trying to put a bit of pressure on Rudd to take the ball cleanly. 55 for 3, another reasonable over, that one. Adding 8 runs to the total. There was a boundary in it. That's the reason it's up above 6, and they'll start to be happy with those overs. The 7th over they had 10 there, then they lost a wicket which slowed them down, but they only picked up 1, but then picking up 6, 10 and 8. That's more like it. That's more where Sparks want to be.
Yeah, definitely much better than the first 5 overs. I think they are getting a move on now, and I think with still 7 wickets in hand, you know, I think they could get to 120, 130 if they really start going for it now.
Danny Wyatt just coming down in front of us to long on. She's had a very profitable Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy with 3 half centuries, and of course is a deadly player in this format. As the top run scorer in the previous T20 competition that only had 6 teams rather than the 8 in it, as this one is through outside the off stump into the gloves of Rudd, and another good delivery from the Wolverhampton born Georgia Elwes.
Yeah, a bit of a swing and a miss there. I think trying to heave it over into the covers, but missed.
That's what Arlott likes to do. She's got her bat raised again, trying to do it again, but again is foiled by the canny Elwes, who gets a Yorker length delivery in really there, and it's played down the offside of the wicket. Single taken though, 57 for 3. Good to have More than 800 of you watching the stream at the moment. Fantastic to have you all with us, and make sure you spread the word about it, be it on social media, be it by hitting that little thumbs up, the little like button. The more of those we can get, the more people know that this game is going on in the Charlotte Edwards Cup, the T20 competition. 4 runs here through the offside, really nicely lifted into that region, and Kelly's starting to just tick along. She's moved on to 35, and this is becoming a really useful contribution. From just the 37 deliveries, I make that, and well, that was a really nice shot, Samara Afzal.
Yeah, that was a lovely shot. She managed to pierce both the fielders and get a boundary. That was great placing, great timing as well.
All of a sudden the spark's up to 60. Can they continue to build? Kelly chopping into the offside. She almost felt obliged to try and take a single there, but it wasn't on offer, so she settles for a dot ball instead, and another look at Georgia Elwis. And this will be a rivalry that I imagine's played out a few times before. Kelly against Elwis, as right arm over the wicket, the ball's delivered, played into the leg side. It's a vacant leg side, bar the 2 fielders on the boundary. Schofield is quickly in and returning on the bounce, and that will be 61 for 3. I hear as well the slight technical difficulty we had with an echo has been resolved. It's sorted itself out, so that is good to know. As Georgia Elwis waits. Hashtag Sparks will fly is how you get in touch with us. At Central Sparks, the Twitter feed that will keep you up to date with the Midlands side, as Wyatt comes in to pick up and returns low on the bounce. 62 for 3 the Sparks move to at the end of the 12th over. So again, another over above 6, 9 taken from it on that occasion. They just seem to be building towards some sort of a charge towards the end of the innings, and the best thing is they kept the wickets there.
Yeah, no, they've still got the wickets. They've not lost anymore. I think for the last wicket was lost about seven or 8 overs ago. So they're doing well, and I think Marie's she's clearly in good form. She's now much improved her strike rate. She's got 36 off 39 balls. I just hope that she carries on, and if she can get to the end of this innings, I think that Sparks should actually get a decent score of around 110, 120. And I think that will be a fighting score, because we know they've got a very good bowling lineup.
Let's see a few of you getting in touch. Hashtag Sparks will fly. David Leach, lovely to see Thea Brooks in the lineup this evening, and she has come and gone this evening, although she will look to contribute with the ball, I'm sure, as back of her run is Lauren Bell, and she'll be making her way in from the Birmingham end to bowl to Arlott, who got there on the full and hit it hard, but only at Georgia Adams at extra cover, who does the fielding. The skipper leading by example, and back to the mark goes Bell. There's a couple of children just running through the lines of steps and up and down the stairways in the stand, which is sort of at long on, as facing up is Arlott, and will try to chop, and if she got anything on that, it would have gone away for 4. I think it was maybe a little unlucky not to get a wide ball there. She was reaching quite away, although the tendency seems to be this season in 2020 competitions to back away to outside leg, so maybe she'd done herself in that respect.
Yeah, I thought that would have been a wide as well, because she did stretch her full bat out to try and reach that.
So well sort of drilled, these sides in 2020 cricket these days. Cover's gone back to the boundary. There's a long off and a long on as well, as Arlott comes down, and she'll pick out the long on all along the floor. So a single added, 63 for 3.
Yeah, I think it seems that Arlott's probably taking the role to get the singles. I think she's finding the gaps getting singles. She's doing well at nearly a runner ball, and I think Marie's probably decided that she's going to go for it now. So we've seen her pick up her pace and hit a few boundaries.
The voice of Dr. Samara Afzal alongside myself, Mike Perkins, as Bell comes in and bowls and backing away outside the leg stump, as if to prove the point that that's the fashion in 2020 cricket this season, was Marie Kelly. Couldn't find the gap, though, between backward points and a very wide short third. It's almost 2 backward points. Dot ball. Making her way back to the edge of the circle goes Lauren Bell. Plenty of excited chatter in the stands as a few birds swoop in the blue sky above, and bowling is Bell, and it's hit away into the offside, and that's caught. Well, I thought for a second it might be a bump ball, but Marie Kelly's just continued on her way. It's been well caught at backward point. Emily Windsor celebrating there, and Marie Kelly's innings, well, it was a good one, it was a useful one, but it's come to an end in a disappointing fashion for 36. Windsor with the catch off the bowling of Bell, and you feel that's going to slow the Sparks' progress.
Yeah, I think Marie will be quite disappointed with herself. Wasn't quite where she meant to hit it, but she hit it straight to the fielder. And yeah, she was in good form. She was needed to stay on, but now I think it will set them back, and the run rate might drop a little bit now with the new batter who's now going to try and get herself set in again.
Well, many of you will have been able to tell by the big smile on her face as she came to the crease to be greeted by Emily Arlott that it is Izzy Wong who has walked out there to bat. 95, the number of Speedy McQueen herself, and she's going to try and do some damage with the bat here. Lauren Bell sending third back, sending cover back, and we will await to see where Wong will try and send this. She looks as if she's got one thing on her mind, and that's to hit the ball quite hard.
Yep.
Let's see what she produces. Here comes Bell. Bowls length ball, which was brave, and gets its reward because it's a dot ball through outside the off stump. Wong remains scoreless. 63 for 4 is the score at the end of the 13th over. Very good over indeed. Just cost the 1 run, I think, in fact, there. So very, very good over from Lauren Bell, and it picked up the crucial wicket of Marie Kelly.
Yeah, very good over. She was bowling quite well. She's bowled quite well throughout the game. It'll be interesting to see Izzy play, because she will just go for it. Hopefully it will pay off, and she'll find a few boundaries and provide some entertainment.
In comes Elwes to start her final over, driven firmly down the ground, but Bouchier able to pick up at long off. 65 for 4. I think I gave the catch to Emily Windsor there, but it's Charlie Dean, in fact, who the scorers are given the catch to, so I maybe got the wrong backward point fielder there, but Charlie Dean taking the catch off the bowling of Lauren Bell to dismiss Marie Kelly for 36 off 41 balls in 48 minutes. So a very useful contribution there, as this one is bowled. Well, it looked as if it was going to be a full toss for Wong to crack away. She's missed it completely with a baseball-esque swing, and second ball, Izzy Wong is out bowled to Georgia Elwes, and well, we said she was looking to hit it very hard, and unfortunately for Izzy Wong, she's not managed to connect there.
No, not a great ball. Lucky to get a wicket on it. Low full toss, probably should have been hit away, but I think she had that mindset from when she came in that she was just going to blast the ball, and it didn't pay off completely. Seemed to miss that, and it's straight into the stumps. I think looking a little bit tricky now for Central Sparks. It will be difficult now to get that same momentum going.
Well, this is where that sort of slow start begins to cost you, really, isn't it? Because they're not really on where they want to be on the board, and it's difficult for these batters coming in. They've got to go from ball 1.
Yeah, and it won't be easy with the likes of George Elwes bowling, who's always got a fantastic line and length to come in and hit straight away.
Here's Elwes. Again going full. I think there was bat involved. There was definitely foot involved for the new batter, Ria Fackrell, because she limps away into the offside, and I think that hurt.
Yeah, another very good ball. Again, as I said, it's going to be tricky. Even finding the single seems to be a bit of a...
Bowling now is Elwes. This one's forced into the offside, not cleanly picked up. The single is still prevented, which was the main thing. Sorry, Samara.
Yeah, so even with the new batters, it's a bit of a struggle at the moment finding a single as well. I think the fielders, they've got 4 or 5 fielders in, so...
Bowling against Elwes, and this one's high into the offside. Now will Schofield take the catch? She's positioned herself well. It was a difficult one in the lowering sunlight, but she got in a perfect position and takes the catch. And Fackrell has also gone for naught. And the Central Sparks innings is struggling, to say the least here. Izzy Wong and Ria Fackrell both dismissed for naught. And on this occasion, it's Schofield with the catch off the bowling of Elwes, who's bowled a very fine final over here.
Yeah, she has, and there was a lot of pressure. There were 4 fielders on the offside. She was struggling to find a single, and so she tried to scoop it into the leg side, but probably meant to hit it between the fielders, but managed to pick out the fielder deep on the leg side. So yeah, another big setback for Central Sparks.
There was so many of them out there, it was always going to be hard to avoid one. It was almost as if she was trying to go over them, but just didn't quite get the elevation that was required. As the new batter comes to the crease, it's Chloe Hill who will be charged with the task of accelerating the innings. The batters did cross though, so Arlett's going to have a go at Elwes's final ball, works it into the leg side, picks up the single, will keep the strike. 65 for 6, so 2 wickets falling in the 14th over. That feels a very crucial 6 deliveries indeed.
Yeah, a double wicket over there, so definitely has put Central Sparks back a little bit. I think they'll be lucky now to get more than 110 really. So yeah, I think it was always probably going to be from the start a low scoring game, and the loss of Marie's wicket, Izzy going quickly, that's not helped. And I think these two, well, one of them needs to stay until the end really to make it through to the end. I think the last thing they'd want is to be bowled out. Yeah,
they need to shepherd it through here as Charlotte Taylor bowls, right arm over the wicket, hit down the ground. Arlett will take the one. Hill was looking to slide the bat in, and it was the way she turned, it was almost a Marie Kelly-esque look for the second there, Chloe Hill, but clearly from the same school of running between the wickets, and Hill will mark her guard. Plenty of discussion from the Vipers here about exactly how to go about this field to Hill. There's 2 back on the leg side and another one coming across in the ring, so she can't just work Taylor away freely for one. Long on's back as well. Taylor bowling, throwing it up. Kelly knocking it behind square. I think the right idea there to just look for the single, but Arlett didn't respond. 66 for 6, plenty of 6s on the board at the moment. Can the Sparks find a few to accelerate this total? Well, that's a good delivery to Hill. Just stuck in the wicket and couldn't really go one way or the other with it.
Yeah, no, Charlotte Taylor, she's been brilliant with her line and length, and as you can see, she's very difficult to get away.
Bowling again with the City of Birmingham away in the distance, as this one's just touched past the wicket keeper, and Chloe Hill's going to have to scamper, does scamper, and then Rudd has thrown the ball to the non-striker's end, but it won't cost any overthrows because Chloe Hill had to run almost twice the length of the pitch to get a ground at the striker's end. 2 to the total though, 68 for 6, with Mike Perkins and Samara Afzal. As throwing it up is Taylor, it's worked into the leg side, single on offer. 69 for 6. And we're hearing that little hum of chatter, and we mentioned it already, but given your day job these days is as a GP, it must be very nice to just sort of hear people chattering and people starting to get back to normal. We'll get your thoughts after this ball from Charlotte Taylor that was aborted on the first attempt. Arlett waits down the track, prods into the offside, has to go for a quick single. It goes to the striker's end in the end, and that allowed Hill to regain a ground, 74-6, and the music blares away, and it's good to see people getting refreshments, people chatting away about cricket again. It does feel as if we're going in the right direction. Yeah,
definitely, it does feel that way, and I'm looking forward to a good summer of cricket and hoping to see a lot of crowd. We've got lots of cricket in the summer, and hoping to actually get into one of the games if the restrictions allow, based on the next easing of lockdown. But no, it's great to see. It's great for me to be here. It feels surreal actually being in my room at the GP practicing patient after patient. A lot of we're getting a bit of a rise of COVID again at the moment, so to be here on a cricket ground is actually quite refreshing, and I'm sure it's quite refreshing for all these spectators. Sunlight, cricket ground, beautiful scenery, and I think for mental health as well, it's really good.
Here comes Dean to bowl in towards the pads. Hill's gone a long way and's going to get run out here. She'd gone for the single, and
I think she's missed it.
Well, Hill had dived for a ground. She looked short of the ground, but I think you're right there, Samara. I don't think it was the ball in the hand that took off the bail, and that's why the umpire has shaken the head. And Hill has got fairly lucky there because she'd backed up and kept running. Here comes Dean once more and bowls, and Arlett's down the track, hasn't got much of it. This is going to be caught by Maya Bouchier, who has one of the safest pairs of hands in women's cricket, and she wasn't going to make a mistake there. 70 for 7 the score. Emily Arlett caught by Maya Bouchier off the bowling of Charlie Dean, and it just seems every time Sparks try and accelerate the scoreboard with a big shot, they end up walking back to the pavilion.
Yeah, lucky she hit it straight again to the deep mid-off fielder. It seems that they're pretty good at finding the fielders at the moment. So not great for Sparks at all. 7 down with the score on 70. Yeah, I hope they do reach 100. Not looking that likely anymore. I think Southern Vipers are in a very commanding position at the moment. They'll be very, very happy with the way they've bowled and fielded so far, and anything 100 for them will be brilliant. They'll be very happy with trying to chase 100 to win.
Claire Boycott is out to the middle to try and find a way to get her team to a total. She's an industrious cricketer, is Claire Boycott. Always a lot of fun to watch, always enjoys her cricket, and she gets down to the striker's end after Hill finds the single into the leg side. So 71 for 7 the score moves on to. Boycott just having a little tap at the crease. Seems to be some disgruntlement on the Sparks bench that they just haven't been able to find their way to a total. It was looking with Arlett and Kelly as if they might do, and then all of a sudden it's disappeared as in comes Norris and will pick the ball up. No run on offer.
And not related to Jeffrey Boycott, as some may wonder.
Well, we heard from Laura McLeod last season that she occasionally gets that as a nickname, and she's not necessarily fond of it as it gets teased. But there's some good cricketing names in this side. As Boycott doesn't pick up a run there, working into the leg side. Arlett, of course, another of them, as this one is short of a length, and it's bowled Boycott. Good delivery from Dean, just right on target on top of the stumps. Can't work it away into the leg side, and Claire Boycott has to trudge back, and it looks as if there won't be much of a total for the Sparks to come out and try and defend here. They lose their 8th wicket with the score on 71. It's Claire Boycott who is bowled by Charlie Dean.
Another very good delivery, and I think just cramped her up for space there. I think there was nowhere to really hit it, and then it went straight into her leg stump. Yeah, 8 down, I think. I don't think 90's looking a possibility anymore either now. So
we will see, but Vipers look as if they've come here to prove a point today, and they're doing it very, very well indeed, and to show they're one of the strongest teams in this competition, and to put right what they couldn't do against the Sparks in the 50 over competition. Well, Their coach's name is on the cup now for the 20-over competition, the Charlotte Edwards Cup. And, well, it's been a... they've started it very well indeed.
Yeah, they're certainly making their coach very proud of the way they've played today. And I'm sure she must be behind their success, their motivation.
Here comes Taylor to bowl to Hill, who just taps into the leg side, and waiting there is Georgia Adams, the skipper. It's almost had a Charlotte Edwards feel to this whole performance. It's just been very, very professional, very, very sort of clinical. And here's Hill slapping it away into the leg side. She'll find the gap at straight mid-wicket, and that's 4 runs, valuable 4 runs to the total, 75 for 8. It moves on to time running out in this innings, but Chloe Hill trying to do something extraordinary and salvage it for her team. 4 runs. Here comes Taylor again to throw the ball up to Hill, who's deflecting away into the leg side this time. Will pick up 1. 76 for 8 the score. We're still in the 17th overs, the other aspect of it. I mean, there's quite some time to go here for the Sparks.
Yeah, that was a good shot from Chloe Hill. She managed to go straight between the fielders and find the boundary, and I think she seems to be...
Here's Georgia Davis, the new batter, facing Taylor. That's gone down the leg side and will be a wide, and Taylor looks distraught with herself there.
Yeah, again, one of the very rare bad balls, but much needed run for Sparks.
Throws it up, does Taylor. It's played away into the offside. Hill very quick between the wickets. It was nearly a undoing earlier in this innings, but it's very much in her favour on that occasion. 79 for 8 the score. And Charlotte Taylor, last time she bowled here, of course, was the final of the Rachel Hayo Flint Trophy, as Chloe Hill plays it away into the leg side to Georgia Adams. No run on offer. Took 6 for 34 that day in her 10 overs. She won't get 10 today, but she's doing a good job as it is, just keeping things as tight as she can, although Hill has played it away into the leg side. There's a good bit of fielding done out on the boundary, so only 1 taken. 79 for 8 the score moves on to, and the Sparks continuing to just try and, I think the word fight gets overused, but it does feel as if that's what they're doing here. They're trying to just sort of scrap and just stay in this somehow. 17 overs gone, 79 for 8 is the total.
Yeah, they're trying their hardest to try get some runs. That was a very good shot, but it was very well fielded. Managed to restrict them to just the 1 run. They were looking for 2 runs.
Yeah, back to the far side goes Danny Wyatt, I think it was, who was responsible for that. Dean, the arm went up in a moment of celebration that there might be an LBW opportunity to shout for, and then she realised I think it was missing 2 sets down the leg side, but she takes the dot ball instead and will throw it up again, and Hill's cleverly reverse swept, and actually there's nobody down there at third. That's going to be 4. She did very well. She fished that almost from outside the leg stump. Yeah, got it away to third for 4 runs. That
was a lovely shot. She preempted that and just reverse swept it. Much needed boundary for Sparks.
Well, there have been too many noughts in the innings, but Chloe Hill looking to make amends here, and 83 for 8 the total. Hill has 14 of them. It's thrown up. She's missed that as she comes down, and the finger goes up, and Chloe Hill is out. And after that excellent reverse sweep, she must walk back to the bench on the far side, and all of a sudden there are the best part of 2.5 overs left to bat, and the Sparks only have 1 wicket left to do it. Hannah Baker will walk out. Chloe Hill dismissed there, trying to work the ball into the leg side, but played all around it in truth. Was hit on the pad, there was a thought, and the finger goes up, and Charlie Dean gets the LBW.
Yeah, I thought at one point it was slightly maybe pitching outside off stump, but the umpire, who was straight in the line of the ball, judged it as being out LBW. So we're 1 wicket left and still 15 balls to go, so this will be interesting to see whether they do make it to the end of their innings, whether they can play out the full 20 overs. I think that should be the target still. Yeah,
it's got to be here. It's quite a strange situation to be in T20 cricket. The breeze had ruffled the number on the back of Dean's shirt there as she was waiting to bowl, and she comes in with a twirl of the arm and delivers another good delivery straight onto the bat of Hannah Baker. It's a dot ball. 10 and 11 at the crease, 83 for 9. The Sparks in trouble and they're all out, and Charlie Dean will claim her 5th wicket, getting the ball to come back through the gate. Baker is out, and all out are the Central Sparks. They find themselves with not much of a total at all to defend here. Baker bowled for naught. Charlie Dean has 5 for 19. The chase will just confirm in a moment, but will be 84. And well, it's been a fairly sorry effort, that, unfortunately, for the Sparks. You feel for them because they're on the big stage here at Edgbaston. They've done it before here at Edgbaston, but today it just never seemed to happen. There was that little spell in the middle where there was runs above 6 in the over for a period, but other than that, when Marie Kelly and Emily Arlott were at the crease, it's been very difficult, and they've got a small total to defend here, and with the likes of Danny Wyatt and Georgia Adams and Maya Bouchier, and the list goes on, to come out and bat here, it's going to be a very difficult task for the Central Sparks.
Yeah, they'll be very disappointed with that total, particularly playing on their home ground at Edgbaston. But I think Charlie Dean's been fantastic. Again, that last delivery was pretty much unplayable for Baker, playing all over it and getting bowled out. So, and they've been on point with their fielding. All of the bowlers have been brilliant, and apart from that partnership between Marie and Arlott, they didn't really get going. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be very, very difficult for Central Sparks, even though we know they've got a fantastic bowling lineup with the likes of Izzy Wong, who'll be interesting to watch with her pace. But I don't think Southern Vipers are particularly going to be bothered by this total of 83.
No, you can't imagine it. It was a fairly easy win for South East Stars in the first game of this group that was played at 11 o'clock this morning. It looks as if it's going to be a fairly easy chase of 84 after the Sparks were all out for 83. I have a scorecard here that I can give to everybody, so if you do need a quick break here, Samara, then now would probably be the time to grab it. The innings will resume shortly for the second half of this game, but just to run everybody through the card, the first wicket fell from the first ball of the second over. 3 for 1 was the score when Eve Jones was out for 2, bowled by Tara Norris. It rather set the tone for the innings. Thea Brooks had opened the batting with her. She departed with a score on 14 from the first ball of the 6th over, caught by Tara Norris off the bowling of Charlie Dean, the first of 5 wickets for the Southern Vipers spinner. We then had Gwennon Davis out for naught, the first of a series of naughts in this innings for the Central Sparks. There were 5 of them in total. She was caught by Rudd down the leg side of the bowling of Elwes, perhaps a little unfortunate just to get a touch as she tried to pull a ball going down the leg side, but it was a great piece of wicket keeping by the ever excellent Carla Rudd, who held onto the catch, and Elwes appealed for it for the first of her 3 wickets. Then it was the dismissal, a crucial one really, of Marie Kelly, because she'd put on 39 with the company of Emily Arlott, but Marie Kelly was out with the score on 63. Found the hands of Charlie Dean at backward point off the bowling of Lauren Bell. That was Bell's only wicket, but it was a crucial over in the innings after a little run of scoring overs for the Sparks. They lost a wicket and only managed to score 1 run in that, the 13th over of the game. Next to go then, as the procession really started to begin, was Izzy Wong. She was out for naught from a second ball to Georgia Elwys. It was a full toss, but the pace perhaps slightly taken off it, and that deceived Wong with the big swing of the bat, and she missed it completely and was bowled by Georgia Elwys, who then picked up the wicket of Ria Fackrell, repeating the trick in the same over, the 14th over, to make it 64 for 6. That was caught on the leg side boundary by Schofield off the bowling of Elwys, attempting to clear that leg side field and not managing to do so. Next out then was Emily Arlott. She made a useful contribution of 22 from 28 balls, including 2 fours in 35 minutes, but was caught by Bouchier on the long off boundary off the bowling of Charlie Dean, and that was one of the characteristic features of this collapse by the Central Sparks, the fact that when they tried to put the bat through the ball, they were just unable to do so. Boycott next to go. She was out for naught, bowled by Charlie Dean from the 3rd ball of the innings in the that was off the last ball of the 16th over. The score 71 for 8 at that point. It became 83 for 9 when Chloe Hill, who'd hit a couple of nice boundaries, one on the reverse sweep, one on the slog through the leg side, but then was out LBW to Dean as she was just unable to work the ball into the leg side, played all around it, couldn't get outside the line of off stump, and was hit in front of those stumps and was out LBW to Dean. And then that brought Hannah Baker to the wicket with the score on 83. She didn't add anything to the total, bowled through the gate by Dean, who took 5 wickets for 19 runs from 3.5 overs. That's a fantastic performance in T20 cricket. Georgia Elwys, the other pick of the bowlers, she bowled 4 overs, no maiden, 16 for 3. Again, a very, very good contribution. The other bowlers, Taylor, 4 overs, 24 without a reward. Then Norris bowled 3 overs, 16 for 1, and Lauren Bell, very miserly indeed, 3 overs, 5 runs, 1 wicket for her. So that's the tale of the scorecard, and I suppose the tale from a Southern Vipers point of view is the first half of the job. Very, very well done indeed, Dr. Samara Afzal.
Yeah, absolutely. They'll be very happy with the way they've bowled and fielded, and I think they won't be too flustered by this total. Quite easily gettable. But yeah, you never know. Sometimes you have these low-scoring games, and you almost don't know how you come and play them. Do you come and kind of just smash the ball around, get it over and done with in 7 or 8 overs, or do you knock it about a bit? And I think it's the second option where it sometimes can get a bit tricky, and you start to lose wickets and go into a bit of a panic mode. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach their innings, whether they do take the route of smashing it to try and finish as quickly as they can, or they try and knock it about and just comfortably try and get to the total.
My guess is Danny Wyatt will not be one for the knocking it about approach if she comes out to open the batting. As I say, she was leading run scorer last time the 20 over domestic competition was held in 2019 with 466 runs. First English player to score a century in the Super League competition as well, making 110 from 60 balls. She certainly knows how to hit a cricket ball, and I think will be in the mood, and she seems to be in the mood to be proving a little bit of a point to the international selectors who've not picked her for the one-day international starting tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. She's a very talented, brilliant player, and I think she was a little bit unlucky not to get picked for England. So yeah, she does have a point to prove, and I think she will come out playing with confidence, and it'll be good to see her getting some runs and bringing her confidence up, because obviously once you don't get picked for the national squad, it can be a little bit disappointing. But yeah, no, I think she will come out and she will play with a lot of confidence and play her normal game.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be amazed if she doesn't get in the T20 squad, because that is obviously her format. But I suppose she almost has to prove it here today and knock off those runs in fine style. But you imagine that will be what will happen, but who knows? It's of course the second game that's been on this wicket of the day, so maybe that will play into this a little bit. It's, I suppose, a nice trial as well for the 100. The games are going to be played the other way round, as they have been at Taunton today and at Headingley, with the women's fixtures first in the 100. But it's a nice little sort of trial of how this is going to work going into what is potentially a very exciting competition.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that, and unfortunately last year it had to be postponed, and we're all set to go this year, and I think we'll see some very exciting cricket, and I think we'll see a lot of talent on display as well, both in the men's and the women's tournament. But yeah, it's exciting, and it's great. It's going to be great to have spectators watching those games as well.
Yeah, and I guess, I mean, the ECB are making a big play of trying to attract people from different backgrounds, trying to attract more women to the game, trying to attract people from backgrounds that they don't serve very well at the moment. I guess that's, in a lot of ways, what the 100 will sort of live and die on it, if you like. What's your sort of perspective on what they would need to do to make a success of it in that respect?
I think the plan it's a good plan, because of course we know that a lot of people don't necessarily get time to be drawn to the longer format of the game, and even ODI cricket, it's difficult, particularly in this day and age, to take out a full day to watch cricket. And I think T20, the 100, which is an even shorter format, is a good way of attracting more people, attracting school children to come, attracting women to come. And I think I saw somewhere there was a survey done where a lot more women and children said that they would come and watch the 100 as opposed to even T20 cricket. I know it's not a massive difference, but I think the way it's marketed, it all depends on that. Having big names in the competition, I think that'll draw a lot of people, and I do hope that it is a success, because of course a lot of resources have gone into it, a lot of planning has gone into it, and I do think it will be. And I think we do need to look that. With the pandemic happening, we've now got something to look forward to for the summer, and I'm hoping that we have a full capacity watching the games.
Yeah, it would be really nice, wouldn't it, to see grounds like this full of people and people enjoying themselves once again at cricket. And as you say, it's been, I suppose, nice in a way when you've been basically, I presume, just sort of vaccinating people for such a long period of time, to actually be able to have a day where where you've got cricket to enjoy for once.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, it's either in my GP surgery, or if I'm not there, I'm at the vaccination centre vaccinating people. So to be away from both of those places, as much as I love my job, to be out on a cricket field, which I always find mentally really refreshing. It's great for me today, and to watch some of my teammates playing out there. It's lovely, and I just hope, and obviously I'm a big advocate of women's cricket. For me, actually, I believe that a lot of the skills that I've got in my life, a lot of the skills actually that I've developed as a doctor, have actually come from playing cricket from a young age. It's a team sport. You learn how to be confident, you learn how to be a team worker, and with whatever you do in future life, these skills are essential. And I encourage particularly South Asians, because we don't see as many South Asian girls in cricket, and I particularly advocate to them. And we did a pilot project actually with the National Asian Cricket Council, where we got a group of ladies and women and children who were my patients, from a very deprived area, who'd never played any sport, and we got them playing 8 weeks of cricket at an indoor centre, and they absolutely loved it. The plan was to take it outside and get them playing outdoors, but then unfortunately COVID happened. But I think to anybody listening, get your girls into sport. I'm not necessarily saying it has to be cricket, but cricket for me is fantastic. I absolutely love cricket. It's given me lots of vital skills. But for physical health, mental health, it's very important, and it's to build your character as well. I think it's essential.
Well, I mean, to see your patients then putting the team together and playing must have been fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely, and some of these patients have had lots and lots of very, very depressing problems, physical and mental. So to see them, actually all of them enjoying themselves on a cricket field, and me being able to do some coaching with them, it was brilliant, and it worked really well. And I think the plan is actually to expand it to other areas of the country, and it has been expanded, particularly in the Bradford region, where there are a lot of South Asians. There are similar plans.
Well, we have 2 batters out in the middle. Georgia Adams, the captain, will face the first ball of this innings. And at the far end there is the distinctive figure, I think, of Danny Wyatt. So, the Sparks have a low total to defend. They put Marie Kelly in at slip. They've given the ball to Emily Arlett, back with the Sparks after her England selection, which was such a big tick in the box for the domestic 50-over competition. What can she produce in the 20-over competition? She's pumping her arms on her way from the Birmingham end, short of a length, and it's forced into the offside. And the chase of 84 begins for the Vipers, who are scampering through very hard and even thought about a third there, but weren't able to pick it up. The ball returns to Chloe Hill, who's got the gloves on today, and underway are the Vipers, 2 without loss as the sun, the late evening sunshine, as the floodlights start to take effect, shines on the flats away in the far side, and Emily Arlett is making her way in and bowls outside the off stump and beats Georgia Adams with one of those balls that I think is what caught the eye of Heather Knight, the fact she can just get that little bit of zip, that little bit of bounce, that little bit of lift.
Yeah, that was the perfect delivery, just outside off stump, bit of a play and a miss. So yeah, we need to see more balls like that, trying to stem the runs and maybe get them to make a mistake and lose a wicket.
Here comes Arlett again. Right arm over the wicket to Adams, it's straight. Arlett bowling to a slip, a fielder on the boundary at third, a backward point, extra cover and cover. She also has mid-on, straight mid-wicket, backward square leg and long leg just behind our TV screen as I peer past it to see down there. 2 without loss with that second dot ball from Arlett. Beaten Adams once from the second delivery of the innings, and pacing in again and bowls, and there's a big old drive there from Adams, and she makes absolutely no contact with it whatsoever. Still another 82 runs required for victory. 83 made by the Central Sparks in their innings. 5 for 19 for Charlie Dean is the story of this game. Lots of encouragement from the Central Sparks players. Arlett on her way again, short of a length, and this one's played away on a sort of forcing shot really to Gwennon Davis at backward point, who returns strongly to Chloe Hill. 2 without loss it remains as the flag flutters to the left of the scorebox as we look towards the green trees over there. And the bat is tapped by Adams. Arlett pacing in, knows she needs wickets early on, and this one's been caught at mid-off by Izzy Wong, and Georgia Adams has played the simplest of catches to Izzy Wong, and perhaps, you never know, this could become a difficult chase because Adams is gone, the score is 2 for 1, and well, the Southern Vipers skipper is out. What a start that is to the innings for the Central Sparks.
Yeah, great start. I think she was aiming to clear Izzy Wong at cover there, but she's managed to, I think the ball just stopped a little bit on her and she managed to find Izzy Wong and is out. And again, yeah, so quick wicket, so you know, the pressure will be now on them a little bit. So if Central Sparks can continue to bowl a good line and length and force some more mistakes, it could be an interesting match still.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a difficult pitch to knock the ball around on, so that certainly doesn't seem to be an approach. But then every time somebody's tried to just break the tension with a big shot, it's not worked either. So who knows? Maya Bouchier is the new batter. Danny Wyatt, though, will be on strike. And Izzy Wong has the ball in her hand and is characteristically spinning it up in the air and catching it and just adjusting the back of her run to make sure she's ready to charge in and give this absolutely everything she's got. And I think Izzy Wong's one with a real chance of playing those T20s at the end of the India series if England decide they want to do something useful. Of course, a half century for Emma Lamb, that will help her get involved in those. Maybe Danny Wyatt, well, you would assume Danny Wyatt will be involved just because her 2020 record is very strong indeed. She's played 116 T20 internationals and has made 200s and 750, so the pedigree's there, but Wong is the new player on the scene. It was quick, but it was down the leg side, and that'll be a wide ball, 3 for 1, and that is something that the Sparks can't afford too much of, because their opponents were very disciplined in their innings with the extras only conceding 3 wides, and when you've only got 84 on the board you have to be careful in that respect. But this is what Wong's all about. She'll either go for runs or take wickets. There's not a huge amount of middle ground as she bowls and goes wide the other way on this occasion. 4 for 1 the total moves to.
Yeah, I thought slightly unlucky on that occasion. I thought the ball moved away quite a bit. Izzy, again, she's a very, very popular character locally. Very long bowling run-up, and I remember a lot of players actually, even that makes it a little bit fearful of her pace. She's very quick. I think she hits the 70s quite comfortably.
And through, that one goes outside the off stump. Now that I agreed with you with the second one. I thought that was unlucky, and now she's I think though she was pushing her luck with that one, and it was wide indeed. 5 for 1. But yeah, she's a very, very exciting cricketer, is Izzy Wong, and we've seen a few quaking in their boots even at the regional level, I think, when she charges in off this long run. As I say, she gives it her absolute all. Maybe just trying a bit hard in those first few balls as she gets one through past Wyatt's outside edge. Wyatt was just trying to, I think she was safe in the knowledge, knowing that if she did get much of an edge, it was flying off down towards third. We're getting shots of the Vipers bench there, waiting and watching expectantly, and here comes Wong. Headband across the forehead, and she bowls now, but again can't control it. 6 for 1, and just struggling to find her area here.
Yeah, I think she's trying a little bit hard. You can see that she's very keen. She's running in aggressively, but not able to control her pace at the moment. 3 wides in that over so far already.
Yeah, it's as if she just wants to prove what she can do and knows she might have a limited opportunity, but she just needs to get back to doing what she does best, which is bowling very straight and very quick, as Danny Wyatt finds out there as it skips through off the turf outside the off stump.
Yeah, much better delivery. Textbook, just outside off stump, play and a miss.
A bit of wind just ruffling across the ground again. The sun's starting to dip away over the city of Birmingham in the distance. The floodlights on here, and the Central Sparks and Southern Vipers are providing the entertainment under the lights as this one is hit away through the offside. Now there is a fielder back, and they do a very good tidy job of keeping it down to a single, but with the speed that went off Wyatt's bat, it was looking as if it might be a bit of a task on there, but she's done well, and Bouchier comes on to strike for her first ball. 7 for 1 the total with the single. Good to have 850 of you with us. Thank you for joining us. Do make sure you hit the like button to let us know you're enjoying this, and also to help people find our stream here. And we hope to have you with us throughout the Charlotte Edwards Cup this season, as this one's driven up to mid-off. There is no run on offer to Arlott, who has got the wicket to fall so far, and has been indebted to her fast bowling partner Izzy Wong for taking the catch. Can they repeat the trick here? Wong back to the end of her run and looks as if she's almost chuntering to herself, trying to get herself going, trying to bowl one of those inspiring spells. Of course, 8 of the wickets were taken in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy by this pair of opening bowlers. Can they produce something similar here? Full toss there produces no run. It was neatly hit by Bouchier, but didn't find the gap in the field. Either side, and it would have been 4 runs. We have seen boundaries out towards that side of the ground, over towards the old west stand, as this one is through outside the off stump. Bouchier looking to cut again, I think, knowing if she'd got anything on it there, she'd have got runs, but couldn't get anything on it. 7 for 1 the score at the end of the second over. That's the score at the end of the third over in the Central Sparks innings. So we're not in too dissimilar a situation, but I think it was the the 5 noughts that followed in the Central Sparks innings that was perhaps the issue. But the Samara Afzal, what are you making of Izzy Wong so far? Seemed to find her areas by the end of the over.
Yeah, apart from the wide, it's actually a very good over. She would have otherwise only given away 1 run, so she managed to find her line of length towards the end of the over. So I think she'll carry on bowling, and hopefully if she doesn't bowl any more wides, and she looks like she can get a wicket at any point.
As can Emily Arlett, it seems, as she's running into bowl now. Tall figure, finds the outside half of Wyatt's bat, but it was controlled down to Boycott at third, and a single added to the total. 8 for 1 it moves on to. Wyatt has 2 of them, and Bouchier is taking guard to face the bowling from the Birmingham end. Bird flaps across the sky, and it's still a fairly light blue sky. We've had a day of sunshine, which has been nice. Bouchier just making sure she's marked that guard, and will pace in now. Hill and Kelly wait behind the stumps, but they won't be interested in that little chop from the crease out to Boycott at third. She's the definition of a third fielder at the moment, because it's sort of slip and backward point to the other 2 behind square on the offside, and Boycott's the 3rd one down there in between them. 9 for 1 the score, as waiting is Wyatt, playing leg side but not getting much bat involved there, so has to settle for a dot ball. As the clock in the distance at the top of the scoreboard ticks up to 8:05. Feels as if it'll be an early finish, this one, either way, whether it's Sparks demolishing the Vipers' wickets or whether it is indeed the Vipers finding their way to their target of 84. They've got 8 of them so far, and they'll get 4 more of them here. Wyatt has decided she's had enough. She's come down the pitch and she's bashed that one away to take the score on to 13. Very, very nice stroke indeed. Slight element of risk to it, but was happy to find the rope in the end.
Yeah, lovely shot. It flew into the offside boundary, and I think that's taken a bit of pressure off them finding the boundary.
71 more needed. Kelly is sent into the offside ring. Of course, just the 2 fielders out at the moment. They've gone for third and long leg at the moment, although long leg will be brought up to a short fielder just inside the ring on the 45, maybe even a tad finer than that. So there's a cover sweeper and a fielder at third as Wyatt goes down the track and just cleared Wong, and this one will run away for 4 more runs. 17 for 1 the score goes to. Another 67 required. We said there's only one way Danny Wyatt's going to go about this, and she's proving that there.
She is, yeah. 2 boundaries and 2 balls. That was another lovely shot straight past mid-on over the head of Izzy Wong, and another boundary. I think Danny Wyatt's looking to crack on with the game and finish it as soon as she can.
Yeah, as I say, the other game in this group, which brought a bonus point win for South East Stars, that saw some clean hitting from Bryony Smith, and Wyatt's trying to repeat the dose in the second game in the group today, as this one goes off the outside half of the bat down to third, and another single will be added. 18 for 1 the score. In the other group, wins for the Sunrisers and Thunder in the games today. They both picked up 4 points each, so go top of, it doesn't say Group A and Group B on here, but I'm going to call them Group A and Group B. I'm going to say we're in Group A and they're in Group B. There'll be, of course, a finals derived from the sides finishing at the top end of these groups. 18 for 1 the score then, so a productive over of 11 in the third over of the Vipers' reply. Wong to the back of the mark, spins the ball and then surveys what's in front of her. She's got 2 fielders at point and backward point. A fielder down at third, a cover sweeper, and that's where the ball will go, and it might have a real task for the cover sweeper who can't get there. Full length dive from Baker, but she was unable to stop the ball going for 4, and the boundaries that weren't flowing in the Sparks innings all of a sudden are flowing in the Vipers innings, maybe due to the extra pace on the ball, maybe due to the quality of Danny Wyatt's stroke play, finding the cover boundary with ease there and going about her work very well.
Yeah, that was a lovely shot by Danny Wyatt, really timed to perfection, and I think it does help with Izzy's pace. It comes on to the bat nicely. A good attempt by the fielder on the boundary, but unfortunately it just went under her, and another 4 runs for Danny, who's on 15 off 9 balls. Pretty nice little innings so far.
Yeah, it's done very well as Danny Wyatt here, just showing the class she has. Sort of just seems to own the crease there. She settles over her bat again as Wong picks up the ball and heads in. Bowling fast and full, but just touched into the leg side by Wyatt, who's happy to keep her strike rate going. 16 off 10 now. Starting this very well indeed. England, of course, beating Sri Lanka by 89 runs earlier in the day in the international T20 match. There was a win here for Durham against Birmingham Bears by 34 runs. And Notts Outlaws winning by 7 runs against Lancashire Lightning. As Wong comes in, there's an appeal for LBW. It seemed to be speared in towards the pads of Bouchier, and that could have been what saved her in the end. A dot ball is the result, as we say, in this competition. Wins for South East Stars by 6 wickets against Lightning. Thunder by 12 runs against the Northern Diamonds in the what is certainly this competition and the Rachel Hay Flint Trophy competition's Roses match. And Sunrisers winning by 7 wickets. Haven't got a win in the 50 over competition, but start the 20 over with a victory. So that's probably one of the big stories of the day. Dot ball there, as that's played down the onside of the wicket. 23 for 1 as Bouchier just has a bit of space really provided for her by Wyatt, and also provided by the work of the bowlers, with Charlie Dean taking 5 and Georgia Elwes taking 3. Here comes Wong, who of course was with the Vipers in the KSL. And this one's swung away on the pull shot down to backward square leg.
Slightly short and wide from Izzy there, I think. Hit quite comfortably for a single. I think Izzy's struggling a little bit with the line at the moment.
Yeah, she seems to have switched the approach after that 4 earlier in the over from Wyatt to going straighter at the body and at the stumps rather than perhaps looking for the outside edge, as she goes in straight towards Wyatt there, who had to be on guard to play it into the offside. No run on offer. 24 for 1. The score at the end of the 4th over. So it looks as if it will be a comfortable procession here. Another 60 runs to the target of 84. But you just never know. We got a bit excited there, didn't we, when Izzy Wong took the catch at mid-off to dismiss Georgia Adams. You just never know what could happen.
Yeah, you don't with low-scoring games. I think obviously with going at 6 runs and over at the moment, chasing a target of 84, they're well on track. But yeah, if you lose, you know, if Vipers do lose another 2 or 3 quick wickets, then the game could change.
Yep, certainly could. Judge Davis is going to come on and try and turn the game in favour of the Sparks here, as vigorously marking the guard is Bouchier. It's a lovely, lovely summer's evening, and it would be a very, very exciting turnaround if the Sparks can salvage something here. They will be disappointed with their batting effort, but it'll be the furthest thing from their minds at the moment, because they're trying to just salvage a result. But the Vipers look a professional outfit, and who are going to try and find their way through. Defensive stroke from Bouchier doesn't bring a run. 24 for 1 as Davis is on her way in again, and Bouchier playing down the onside of the wicket will pick up a single, and 25 for 1 the score goes on to as Chloe Hill collects the ball.
Sparks also missing one of their top players to England duty, Amy Jones, who's a fine batter, so it's made a big difference out here today.
Well, and Sarah Glenn as well, I suppose, who's been scoring runs. The pair of them have been really hitting clean balls, and Glenn, of course, can bowl the leg spin, but I mean, we saw Amy Jones as Davis comes in and bowls to Wyatt. It's beaten Wong. It was a valiant effort to try and get there before the ball bounced, but it always felt as if it was going to be in vain, and Wyatt's managed to find 4 runs to the boundary and continues to accelerate this innings. 25 for 1, but we were seeing Amy Jones playing sort of more towards the other side of the square, sticking the ball down the little alleyway and out into the street, and that 163 she made, which was absolutely fantastic. But a different day here as Wyatt is on the sweep to Davis, but picks out the mid-wicket sweeper, and that is another 1 to the total. Sorry, 30 for 1 now that the score, the boundary taking it on to 29, and then the single up to 30. Another 54 required for victory for the Vipers. They look in control, although this has gone in the air, and Boycott has made a lot of ground there and got fingertips on the ball, but couldn't cling on. It would have been an incredible catch if she had, but she just was unable to get those fingers round the ball there. It made great ground to get there, but just was always struggling, and 2 more to the total, 32 for 1.
Yeah, she's a fine fielder, very quick, outstretched hand, but just missing the ball.
Davis bowling, and Bouchier almost turning her bat round the wrong way there and just prodding it away into the offside. No single on offer. Over comes to an end. More international T20 cricket on at the moment as well. South Africa 101 for 3 against the West Indies. And domestically, Northamptonshire Steelbacks have been set a massive 225 to beat Yorkshire Vikings, which looks as if it may be as difficult in the opposite respect as it is here for the Sparks to defend their 84. It may be difficult for Northants to to chase that total against Yorkshire at Headingley, of course, where we saw Thunder beat Diamonds earlier in the day in this competition, the Charlotte Edwards Cup. Hannah Baker coming on to bowl. Very exciting cricketer, young cricketer, but can turn the ball, and that might be what is required here. Made a debut in the Rachel Hayo Flint Trophy last year. It will be exciting to see what she can produce here. Lots of discussion with Eve Jones about the field. Jones the first to go for 2 in the Sparks innings. And Bouchier and Wyatt in control, it seems, for the Vipers.
Yeah, Wyatt seems to be in really good form. She's hitting the middle of the bat most of the shots that she's played so far. If she stays in, I think this game probably will be over a lot quicker than 20 overs.
We will see. She goes for the shot into the onside to start with and finds the boundary. 4 runs, 36 for 1. The score goes to Wyatt. Quickly across her stumps as soon as she saw the shortness in length from Baker, and lifted it over the infield for 4. Very, very high-class shot of an international 20-over cricketer. As we say, 200s at the top level of the game. And that was in evidence there. Here comes Baker. Short of a length again. This time Wyatt doesn't get hold of it. It was more sort of thrown into the pitch with a bit of speed that time from Baker. And adopts the result. Baker again, just rolls her fingers over the ball, throws this one up with a bit more air. Wyatt's managed to dab it down on the leg side. We'll see how much bat was involved in just a moment. And there was none, because the leg is raised and the knee is tapped. 37 for 1. No sign just yet of Baker being able to find one of those magic deliveries to turn the ball past the outside edge and threaten the stumps, as this one's played away into the leg side. Arlott in from long on, picks up and returns the ball. The shadows lengthening here at Edgbaston in the Charlotte Edwards Cup as Baker throws it up, looks for a sweep shot. Again, I'm not sure how much contact was made with this one as it goes past Chloe Hill, and a wide will be signalled, so none at all. Another 2 to the total, 40 for 1. 44 more are required for victory. More encouragement for Baker. It feels in vain as this one's cracked away into the offside. Cover is found, a dot ball. And Baker getting through her work quickly here.
She is. I think she's just struggling to find that line and that length, actually. So 3 of the balls have been a little bit on the short side. And
throws it up. That was probably the best of the lot.
yeah, good one to finish the over with, straight.
Just brought the defensive stroke from the crease of Bouchier, sort of had to readjust, which is always a sign of a ball getting a little bit of flight and dip and turn. And Bouchier, though, safely negotiated it. She's almost happy to just play second fiddle, really, here to Danny Wyatt, who's 25 off, goodness me, 16 balls now, so really taking charge and really just looks in the mood to finish this off and pack up the kit bag and get going.
She does. She wants to probably enjoy the rest of the weather. The sun's still out. But both of them actually looking quite comfortable out there. They're not being phased by any deliveries at the moment. So I think at the moment, well, nearly halfway there, providing they don't suddenly have a flurry of wickets, it's looking quite comfortable for them.
Yeah, you would expect this to be a bonus point victory here for the Vipers. If they can do it comfortably here, which they look as if they will be able to do so. The gloves just been readjusted by Wyatt, just preparing to settle back in into the power play. There was a quick break for hand sanitizer and all that sort of thing, but it feels as if it'll need to be a break that doesn't just bring 1 wicket but maybe 2 or 3 here for the Sparks, as in comes Georgia Davis, throws it up to Danny Wyatt, who plays it down the onside, and Davis, ever the competitors across the pitch and able to stop a run being scored. The shadows lengthening now, coming in from the left as we look from the pavilion end, and the ball that's arrived from the Birmingham end is played down the onside by Wyatt, who finds Arlott at long on. Another 1 to the total, 41 for 1 is the score. Big smiles on the Vipers bench, and who can blame them, really? They're in complete control of this game. Slight breeze as the Warwickshire flag flutters in the distance, and a single is taken by Maya Bouchier. She'll be happy with that, just to keep herself moving on to 7. And it's difficult, really, to know what the Sparks can do in this situation. The encouragement's still coming, but I guess the belief may be starting to fade as this one's thrown up. Wyatt has swept but found Boycott. Definitely worth staying with us, though, to watch Danny Wyatt bat. She's a real clever operator and a powerful operator at times too. Davis bowling with a backdrop of the tall buildings over Birmingham, and Wyatt declines to send the ball in their direction and just knocks it along the floor on this occasion to Arlott at long on, but more progress made towards that target. 43 for 1. Rips the ball one time in the palm of her hand as Davis, and again it's played down to long on. Bouchier happy to take the single again, and that's the end of the 7th over of the innings. 44 for 1 is the score. In comparison, Sparks were 25 for 3, and that probably tells you all you need to know.
Yeah, a decent over from Georgia Davis. Good line, good length, worked away, however, by both Dining Wyatt, Maya Bouchier mainly to mid-on for a couple of singles, but I think at this stage it really does need a bit of a miracle to change the way the game is going, which seems to be in the favour of the Southern Vipers. It looks to be a comfortable win, or should be a comfortable win for them.
40 more required for the Vipers. They are laying down a marker in this tournament. South East Stars looked very good in this group as well in their opening game, beating the Lightning to take 5 points. 4 points for the two winners in the other group, the Sunrisers and Thunder, as this one's defended down into the pitch. The dot ball is what we've seen, and it's Eve Jones who's come on into the attack here. The skipper just having a go with her left armers. Haven't seen too much of them this season, but she's going to just see if she can unsettle the batters here. Bouchier on strike on 8 and will work into the leg side. Easy one on offer as Hannah Baker goes sliding across some of the fresh uncut pitches and does the fielding well. 45 for 1 the total. The encouragement continuing from the Sparks players. They're a side who pride themselves in what they do, even in what's looking like it will be defeat here. The shadow of Jones moves up towards the wickets. That's a nice drive out into the offside, but out on the boundary is Wong, and she does the fielding. Wyatt has to settle for 1, and she seems slightly becalmed all of a sudden after the flurry of boundaries, particularly square on the offside, but also away into the leg side of Baker. 4th ball the over from Jones. Left arm over the wicket. Played down the onside. Bouchier felt she had to be quick just in case Baker had got to the ball to pick it up, but she doesn't. 47 for 1. And the fans over on the far side in the Wyatt stand, all in shade now as they look on. Jones bowls, and this one's cracked away into the offside. The chase is on for Wong. She does it well enough to prevent the boundary, but will struggle to prevent the 2 as Bouchier comes back, and 49 for 1 the total moves on to.
Yeah, slight misfield from Izzy Wong, not normal for her, allowed them to get 2 runs, but was another good shot, well timed.
Did very well to cover the ground there, Izzy Wong, to prevent the boundary, as this one's hit high in the air. Now it doesn't quite have the legs, does it? Yes, it does. 6 runs over the top, down the ground, and well, that was an emphatic blow indeed from Danny Wyatt. Didn't look like she got all of it at first, but she got enough of it to send it over the rope for the first 6 of the game. Examines her bat a bit afterwards. I think she felt she could have got it even further than that, but she did enough. 6 runs down the ground. It brings up the 50 for the Southern Vipers. 55 for 1 is their score. It comes up from the final ball of the 8th over. The Sparks 50 didn't come up until the 11th over of the first innings, so Danny Wyatt looking to get this over in a hurry. 36 to her name.
Yeah, that was a lovely shot down the ground for a 6.
Just lifted it enough as Georgia Davis bowls, and this one's played nicely by Bouchier, and she'll pick up 1 into the onside. And you feel this over might pick up and have a familiar pattern to the previous one here.
Yeah, not a great delivery to start with. Full toss, lucky to get away with a single.
They certainly seem to be exploiting that route down to long on, and Wyatt, as if to mix things up, just goes into the offside aerially this time. She's going to come back for 2. She's going to have to be quick, but Chloe Hill had to come away from the stumps to try and affect the run out and was always struggling there. Wyatt judging the opportunity well. 58 for 1. Wyatt on to 38. She'll have her eyes on a half-century, you would imagine.
Yeah, I think she deserves a half-century. She's batted really well throughout.
Got a little bit more work to do though, and she's going to get down the track, meet it on the full and hit it for 4 into the leg side. Good stroke by Danny Wyatt, really starting to just look confident at the crease. And she moves into the 40s, 42 from 25 deliveries. Really dominant display from Danny Wyatt.
Yeah, she's making batting look very easy, actually, quite contrary to what we saw with the Central Sparks.
In comes Davis to bowl to Wyatt, who hits it hard into the offside. Single taken, 63 for 1. Scores so far this season of 53, 64 not out, 61 and 28. So that's an indication of the form of Wyatt. She has 43 to her name now. 63 for 1 the total, and it won't remain there because Bouchier's just playing down the onside of the wicket and happy to take a single and happy to move on to 12. 64 for 1, another 20 required for victory. I think Wyatt will have her eyes on all of them.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Waiting now for Davis to throw the ball up. Wyatt doesn't quite get to this one on the full, and as a result doesn't score a run on this occasion. Just prodding into the leg side. 9 overs gone, 64 for 1 is the Vipers score. And they seem to just be cruising to victory. 20 runs from here should be absolutely no problem at all. You're with Mike Perkins and Dr. Samara Afzal as well, who's been enjoying a game of cricket today. And I suppose just been enjoying that sort of feel of summer's back, and it does feel like a summer's evening, even if the cricket's starting to fade away. We still got those long shadows and the light in the sky, which is nice to see.
Yeah, it's a lovely view of the ground from here in the commentary box. A lovely evening. You can see, as you said, in the backdrop there, the Bull Ring, Birmingham City Centre. And these lights at Edgbaston, actually, they're lovely. The new lights with the E.
Yeah, they're starting to come into a little bit of force here. They're certainly helping the batters. So I think we're all right in the stands. We can see it well enough. Claire Boycott's going to come on and try and bowl a sort of little wibbly wobbly seamers and just affect something, but that's a full toss and will be played away into the leg side. 65 for 1. Very difficult now for the Sparks. They just sort of don't have a lot to play with, and they're just trying to make the best of the situation. Boycott just replaces a marker. And can she find a way through? She got the only wicket in a disappointing start to the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy against the Diamonds last year, so she's somebody who doesn't give up, and the Sparks certainly improved from there in the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy. They'll be looking to do the same in the Charlotte Edwards Cup. Nice touch to call it the Charlotte Edwards Cup, isn't it? It's been good to see. We'll get Samara Afzal's thoughts on that after this ball from Boycott, which is well directed and played out into the offside to Jones, no run.
Yeah, Charlotte Edwards, a massive ambassador for cricket, not just in England but all over the world. Had a massive role to play in a lot of England's victories, and I think it's deservedly named after her. It will be a befitting tribute to her with the way Southern Vipers have played this game.
Here is Boycott, played back to her, and again no run on offer to Bouchier, who will very much be trying to make sure she doesn't give anything away here and just keeps her wicket intact at this point. Here comes Boycott and bowling. This one's played into the leg side, but again no run on offer. Just goes away to the position at short fine, and there is no opportunity to get from one end to the other. 65 for 1 is the score, as in comes Boycott bowling airily into the leg side this time, but it finds the gap for Wyatt, and she's going to come back for 2 runs. 45 Wyatt moves on to. Can she get to that half century? It looks likely. 67 for 1 is the score. 84 the target for victory, and that is fast approaching now. See Raf Nicholson using the hashtag Sparks Will Fly, that women's cricket historian, saying interesting that Chloe Hill is keeping wicket for the Sparks, and asking for our thoughts on that choice, giving the younger players an opportunity in the T20. Is that the way you feel looking at the selection of what the Sparks are trying to do here? As I say, lots of changes with Thea Brooks coming in, as we say, Chloe Hill and Hannah Baker as well. Davis to bowl here, throws it up, and Bouchier plays away into the leg side, but doesn't pick up a run. It feels as if they have tried to do something different.
Yeah, they have. They've got a lot of good players in their team, actually. Even they've got a lot of bench strength as well, so I think it looks as though they're mixing and giving everybody a go.
Davis throws it up, but again can't quite find the gap there. Can Bouchier, a little frustrated you feel here, but she knows her team are on course for victory as she comes down the track and plays into the offside this time. Will have to be quick, is quick, and gets through for the single. 68 for 1, so another 16 required for victory. I guess the interesting thing now is whether they stick with that ploy, having had one of their less good results since the start of the regional competitions. Davis gives it a bit of air, and Hill takes the bails, and that's out-stumped. And Danny Wyatt won't get a half-century. She's out for 45. She's been done in the flight by Georgia Davis and has been stumped by Chloe Hill, who's been given the opportunity with the gloves. And Wyatt will have to walk off. Has a little parting word for Bouchier, who she punches gloves with. But she is out for 45. And, well, the result was only going one way, but disappointment for Wyatt. She was really done in the flight by that one.
She was, and I thought something was going to happen in this over. I think she was either going to go for it or well, and she did. A good stumping from Chloe Hill, quick to take the bails off, and lucky. She deserved a 50. She batted really well, some really fine shots in that innings, but she's taken her team on course to certainly get a victory now.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll be disappointed as she walks off the field here, having made 45 runs, but she will certainly be able to console herself with a victory, you feel. Another 16 more required for that. Georgia Elwis, who took 3 wickets with the ball, was a big part of setting up this chase, which at the moment looks as if it will be completed with ease. She's going to come out and try and finish it off with the bat. So Elwis to the crease. 68 for 2 the score. 16 more required for the Vipers' victory. Davis bowling to Elwis, who drives up towards Izzy Wong, who is able to prevent the run even if she doesn't gather the ball cleanly up there at mid-off. Shadows almost encompassing the whole of the playing area now, as Davis again flights one up, and Elwis has to be careful to just play it into the leg side. 68 for 2 then at the end of the over. It was the over that saw the end of Danny Wyatt, stumped by Chloe Hill off the bowling of Georgia Davis for 45. She faced 33 balls, his 6 fours and 1 6 straight down the ground towards us in 41 minutes. A very, very impressive innings indeed, Dr. Samara Afzal.
Yeah, very good innings from Danny Wyatt. She looked as though she had a point to prove to the England selectors, and I think you're right. I think she should make that T20 squad. She's a specialist. So yeah, unlucky she didn't get a 50, but yeah, she has taken her team pretty much to victory.
I mean, we're talking about sort of bringing young players in here as Boycott comes in to bowl, and this one's played away into the leg side. There's a single on offer to Bouchier, who has to sort of take on a little bit more of a senior role to knock off these last 16 runs, but you would imagine will do so. 69 for 2 the score. They could do something, I think, really interesting with that T20 team, and they could maybe only play one of Siver or Knight and actually, bring in an Emma Lamb. You have push Dunkley up to 3. You could bring Wyatt back into that side and really sort of get a different feel to it. And as I say, potentially play maybe somebody like an Izzy Wong, although she'd have to bowl better than she did today, perhaps, as Boycott gets another dot ball. It just feels like that would be something a little bit more exciting to do with the T20 games against India in this series.
Yeah, I think well, once I think you're on a winning track, you tend to stick with the same team.
Here's Boycott bowling into the pad. There was a thought of a single there from Elwes, but she was quickly sent back by Bouchier.
But at the same time, I think if you're on the losing side, and obviously Central Sparks haven't done very well in this game, it's a natural reflex to try and shift the team about, but that can be unsettling as well. And I think once you've given a chance, you should given a good run of matches.
It seems as if Sparks will see this just as one result, and you think will give it a few more games. And Chloe Hill, of course, getting the stumping, taking the ball cleanly there to prevent any scoring off that one that creeps through outside Elwes' off stump. 15 more required for victory. They're certainly still giving it their all, the Sparks, and just trying to get as much out of this game here at Edgbaston as they can. This one lifted into the leg side. Elwes, I think, is going to find the rope. Oh, that's a fantastic effort from Fackrell, but just can't keep the ball inside that rope, and it pops up and over and away for 4 runs. 73 for 2, 11 more required for victory.
Yeah, lovely shot from Elwes. Yeah, a stunning job in the field by Fackrell, but just didn't manage to stop the ball going to the boundary. Slightly short and wide from Boycott, who's otherwise bowled quite well.
Used everything she had to try and get there, but just couldn't quite keep the ball in the rope. Finishes with a dot though, does Boycott, driven straight back to her by Elwes. 73 for 2 then, the score. 10 short of the 83 that Central Sparks made, which means they are 11 short of victory and well on their way to securing that at the end of the 12th over. And yeah, as I say, just that England side, it feels as if they could, when they look to play India, sort of really use this competition as a kind of a breeding ground to just confirm a few thoughts about players that they've had in that academy side, players like Emma Lamb, players like Izzy Wong, and as I say, potentially look to bring back people like Danny Wyatt. I don't know what you make of that. They can be quite conservative, though, I suppose, is the reason they might not.
Yeah, and I think playing in India, it's always very competitive, and obviously the thing on their mind is to win the games. But yeah, you're right, they've got a lot of bench strength, and it's good to give the youngsters the games, give them some confidence, and they need to probably find a fine balance with having some of the senior girls like Kanat Siva, Catherine Brunt, and then mixing them up with some of the younger ones. Izzy Wong, for example, could learn a lot from watching Catherine Brunt.
In comes Wong, who bowls, and this one is driven up towards mid-off. Wong back into the attack from the Birmingham end. I always feel it's the end. She sometimes just feels as if she likes bowling from this end a little bit more, but let's see what she can produce. She's only got 11 runs to play with. It's a third over of this Vipers innings. And waiting for her is Bouchier, who's going to have a big strike down the pitch, and that will go for 4 runs. Through mid-off on the drive, took a little step into it before she took the big step to play the stroke, and it came right off the middle of Bouchier's bat. Gave herself a little bit of room, got down the pitch a bit, and hit it very well indeed through long off. 4 runs, 7 more required for victory, and Bouchier has picked up well, taking herself onto 19 now that Wyatt's out.
Yeah, that was a top shot. I think it's the best shot that she's played all innings, actually, and very confident. Good timing, straight past mid-off into the boundary.
Yeah, you'll see few better than that. It was really powerfully struck by Bouchier, using all the pace of Wong as well to send it back where it came from. This time just plays into the onside and doesn't pick up a run as some fireworks go off towards the city of Birmingham in the distance. They're making a fair old noise, it has to be said. They look very pretty. We can barely sort of see them, I suppose, against the light sky, but there's lots of reds and greens.
Yeah, I wonder what that's for, actually.
Yeah, somebody having a party. Anyway, as in comes Izzy Wong and is bowling, and it's a sweep attempted, but a wide ball is the result. 78 for 2 as the pyrotechnics disappear. Did notice they had the fire out at those sort of big things that send fireballs into the sky out in the early game at Trent Bridge today, which it felt quite elaborate for 11 o'clock in the morning, I have to say.
Yeah, not something you're used to seeing before midday. Normally something that you'd see around this time in the evening.
Plenty watching on as Wong bowls, and this one's driven into the offside. Bouchier's going to come through for the single as she sees the misfield from Eve Jones. 79 for 2. Sparks require just the 4 for the tie, 5 for the win here, and they have as long as they like to do it, and they're going to pick up their bonus point too here. Settling over a bat is Georgia Elwis, and Wong trying to get another impressive victim in her career. Doesn't do so though. It's just guided away behind square on the offside. Good bit of fielding by Gwen and Davis. 80 for 2 is the score. 4 more required for the win. And Izzy Wong just has a chat with the skipper Eve Jones, but they know the game's up. It's just whether they can pick up another wicket to take with them at this stage. The light shining down here at Edgbaston as Wong runs in and is bowling, and Bouchier's driving into the offside, and that could have been the game had it not been for the cover sweeper out on the boundary, and they keep it to 1 because it was so firmly struck. Elwis back onto strike. 81 for 2. In fact, it's the end of the over, so Bouchier will retain the strike. Scoreboard looking in splendid form over there with the gold weather vane on top, the clock face on the front, and the figure that matters, 81 for 2. 84 the target for victory. And the game is well and truly up, but we've seen some high class from Charlie Dean and Georgia Elwis to set this up, and then Danny Wyatt, of course, with the bat has been absolutely excellent.
Yeah, it's been a clinical performance from Southern Vipers. I don't think they've done anything wrong. Fantastic for fielding, fantastic with their bowling, and yeah, batting. Danny Wyatt's been fantastic. She let Boucher just have that back roll, and now she's stepped up now that Danny's out and taking her team to a very, very comfortable victory.
The sun setting in the distance, as you were seeing there on the screen, and the sun setting on this game as the ball is lifted into the offside. This could be the game right here. It bounces past the fielder and away for 4 runs, and the Southern Vipers have won the game with a lusty blow from Maya Bouchier, who finishes on 25 not out. Danny Wyatt, the mainstay of the Vipers innings, with 45 before she was stumped by Chloe Hill off the bowling of Georgia Davis. Georgia Adams was out for 2, caught by Izzy Wong off the bowling of Emily Arlett. Elwis was not out 5 at the end. A very, very comfortable victory indeed for the Southern Vipers. It feels as if they've sent a real message to the rest of the competition in the Charlotte Edwards Cup in their first game. Their coach's name is on the cup, and it looks as if they want to put the team's name on there too.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlotte Edwards with a big smile on her face, and rightly so. Her team have been absolutely fantastic in this game, and yes, they have set a point that actually they look to be one of the strongest teams in this competition, and the way they played today, they stand a very good